Hi, you're watching How to Become a True Yogi presented by Shakti Yoga Studio. My name is Manisha and today I will be talking about Gyan Yoga or the path of knowledge. We will be covering 3 topics. 1 is soul consciousness, 2 is detachment, and 3 is selection of a guru. So let's get started. Now, what is truth? Truth is something that is constant, irrespective of time and space. So, obviously, it is also eternal. It also implies that untruth is something that is either changing or it is temporary. Now, this is also the definition that you will see in the Bhagavad Gita. And as per this definition, if we consider ourselves, if we look at the body, it is constantly changing from the day we are born till the moment that we die, through the scope of a childhood, youth, and old age. And we also know that everybody who takes birth is definitely going to die. And this means that our body is temporary. Now, if we look at the soul, on the other hand, the soul is eternal. Let us look at an example which tells us the relationship between body and soul as taught by Sage Vasishta, who was a guru to Lord Rama. So one day in the Gurukul, it was a full moon night, and Guru Vasishta called all his students and told them to gather vessels, fill them with water and bring them outside. So the children ran all over the Gurukul. Somebody picked a glass, a bowl, a plate, a pot, a cooking vessel, filled them with water and brought all those vessels near the Guru. He asked them to place them on the ground and asked them to look inside. When the children looked inside, they found that there was the reflection of a full moon in each and every pot. Now he said, "Can we break the pot?" They said, "Yes, we can." Then he asked, "Can we burn the pot?" They said, "Yes, we can." He said, "Can I pour water on all these pots and make them wet?" They said, "Yes." He said, "Will these pots dry by the air around them?" They said, "Yes." He said, "What about the moon inside the pot that you see? Can I cut it?" They said, "No." "Can I burn it?" They said, "No." "Can I make it wet?" They said, "No." "Can I dry it with air?" They said, "No." So now the pot or the vessel is our body, but the reflection of the moon is the soul or the Atma, and the moon represents the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul or God. So this is an easy way to understand what is taught in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says that the soul cannot be cut by any weapon, cannot be wet by water, cannot be burnt by fire, and cannot be dried by air. Now that we understand the difference between the body and the soul, the Gyan Yogi has to develop a soul consciousness. What is soul consciousness? I am not this body, but I am the eternal soul. Now, there are mantras which are typically used in the meditation by the Gyan Yogis called as Soham. Soham means I am that. If I am a soul, it is obvious that you are a soul as well, and so is everybody else. Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. So I am that, you are that. I am the soul, you are a soul, we are all the same. And when the soul consciousness rises in a Gyan Yogi and he identifies himself as the soul, he loses all discrimination that typically we have. It can be a discrimination based on species. Species here means even animals have soul, and it is a body which is showing them as a tiger or a cow or a dog or a cat or whatever it is, right? And discrimination based on race, religion, caste, class, gender, sexual preferences, appearances, any kind of discrimination, if you will see, is based on the body. It is not based on the soul. And if I have become soul conscious, I will not be able to discriminate between people based on any attribute of their body. And that is one very important aspect in the path of knowledge, soul consciousness. Now let us look at something else. Joy and sorrow. These are also temporary. And how do we know that? Let us listen to this lovely story. There was this king, and this king one day, he was very sad. And because he was sad, he went into the court and he told his courtiers, make an announcement in my kingdom that whoever brings me something, that if I look at it and I am happy, I will become sad. And if I am sad, I will become happy. So the courtiers wondered, how can there be one thing which somebody looks at and becomes from happy to sad, or from sad to happy? But the king has said, and so it has to be done. So the announcement was made all throughout the kingdom that whoever brings such a gift for the king will be well rewarded. Now, a couple of days later, a jeweler turned up in the king's court. And he said, sir, I have this ring for you. I'm sure this will meet your requirement. Now the king opens the box. He looks at the ring and he sees that it has 4 words written on it. The words are, this too shall pass. So now when the king was sad and he looked at it and he realized, yes, the sorrow is not temporary. Things will become better. I don't have to worry. And he became happy. And then some time later, when things were going well, and he happened to look at this ring, and he saw it said, this too shall pass. And he realized that this good times will not last forever. So he became sad. Right? So, joy and sorrow are temporary. And a Gyan Yogi realizes this. And so, whenever there are good times, he's not overly excited and celebrating and dancing. And whenever there are bad times, he's not depressed and frustrated and weeping and crying and cribbing. So he maintains a state of equilibrium, irrespective of the circumstances of his life. Because he has become detached, because he has understood that joy and sorrow are temporary. So now we come to the last part of today's video, which is selection of a guru. Now, how do I select a guru? Because it is mandatory in the path of knowledge for me to find a guru. Obviously, if I wanted to do a doctorate in yoga, I would need to find a guru who is also a doctorate in the same field. And similarly, if I want a spiritual guru, a Gyan Yogi, I need, right, somebody who has already been there and done that. So what are the criteria? So as I said, the path of knowledge is for ascetics. So you have to check if your guru is a true ascetic. Now, how do you know what is an ascetic? Is it somebody who wears orange clothes or saffron clothes or white clothes or grows long beard or is wearing rudraksh malas or something like that? No, it is not the appearance here that matters. It is the kind of life the person lives. A true ascetic is required to beg for alms every single day for food. They can only eat what they have got from alms. They live in the very simplest of place with very little, I would say no comfort, only basic needs. They are required to not take any more than that. Okay. Now, the second thing is social consciousness, as we just spoke about it. A person who is a Gyan Yogi will not discriminate based on any criteria, be it race, religion, caste, class, gender, and so on and so forth. If you find the Guru is talking where there is a discrimination based on any of these criteria, you will know that this is not a true yogi. Last but not the least is knowledge brings humility. A Gyan Yogi is the ocean of knowledge. So he has to have the humility that goes with it. Now, if your Guru starts teaching you that the Guru is a personification of God, and if you do seva of the Guru, it is better than doing seva of God, you know that he is discriminating between the Guru and the Shishya. He is not seeing himself on par with others. So you know that he is not a true yogi. Now you may well ask me that, Manisha, can we find a real Guru then? Probably yes, but they will not be so easily accessible, because a true ascetic is probably going to be in some remote corner in the forest or in the Himalayas, in some cave, and not really looking out to find disciples and so on and so forth, but sitting in meditation on the Paramatma. Now, for an example to understand how a Gyan Yogi would be, I would say that all the criteria that I have given are applicable on Shirdi Ke Sai Baba. I think he was a true yogi who had social consciousness, who was an ascetic, and who was humble. With this, I would like to end this episode. Thank you very much. God bless you. See you next week.